Yes, so España versus Saudi Arabia. Spain looking very much at ease at this moment. Few changes made to that starting 11 that started that famous game that Cape Verde drew as well a few days back. You know, would have seen the likes of Danny Olmo coming into the team, Bahina, getting into the team as well. The likes of Starboy, Wonder Kid, Lamin Yamal coming into the team as well, into the starting 11. And also Poro is in the team as well. So there is a lot of changes. Lots of changes for De La Fuente in the starting 11 versus Saudi Arabia. Quite a few changes at the back. Matter of fact, it's one. Poro, Olmo into the midfield, Yamal and Bahina from Atletico Madrid is in that front line as well. So you see man like Gavi, Ferran, Llorente all missing out on the starting 11 versus Saudi Arabia. So the coach is looking for much of a reaction. Luis De La Fuente is looking for a reaction from these players. It's going to be a tough game for them as well. This is a team that beat the world champion in the last cycle in the first game in that group as well. So let's see if any changes will go forward. But this is a Saudi Arabia team that massively came back as well and got a point. I think that game played in Florida, versus Uruguay as well. They did very well, to claw themselves back into the game. So they're much comfortable, in this situation, and they would have been in this situation on numerous occasions, dealing with big teams. You have to be dealing with teams that's allowing them to come at them, and it is one of, and it is Yamin Yamal on the back post, and that's it. Here we goes, and it is the one that can open the account for Spain in this game, and also his account of the FIFA World Cup, and he's off the mark as well. And that's 1-0 up. And I think he will make the big difference, of this Spain team. And if they're going to go anywhere, into the tournament, if they're going to make any real deep push, as close to that final game, coming up as well in New York, is going to be the art of this Spanish team. Because he's the big difference. They have so many players that played alike, but there's only one, Lamin Yamal in this team. There's only one of him. So they have to make sure that they really protect him. So it's a very good run on the left hand side to Ozayabal. And it's a magnificent picked out on that back post. Magnificent pass, right down the line of that Saudi Arabia defensive line. The keeper, it went so close, but he just couldn't get a hand on it. It was hit with such perfection, the pace, and Yamal, time is run very well at the back post. So it's 1-0 up for España in this game so far. Yeah, I would have seen that massive draw game as well. We were talking about the famous Cape Verde game. Yeah, the famous Cape Verde game. The man in between the sticks. There's no Vocina in the sticks. The man who in the sticks on the opposition side is Al Owais from Al Ulua FC. So there's no Vocina in the middle of the goal today. Yes, so sorry about that. It was on mute, but so we are up and running in this game. Spain, going to dominate the rest of this game. I think 1-0 up in the first 50 minutes should always give them a bit of a comfort, in this game, knowing that at some given point, the Saudi Arabia team must come out and attack, must come out and leave some space behind. And Spain should continue to press. They should continue to penetrate as much as possible. It's very important. You continue in passing the ball around, but you have to continue that penetration. You have to continue that running at your defenders. Continue have to give I mean Yamal the perfect ball where you will be isolated with defenders as well. So stuff like that very important. Continuing this game. Yeah, that's why he's very important. And Danny Olmo, he's going to be key. He's going to be the one that will create the space in the midfield. He's going to bring that dynamic run, the late run into the box as well. And he's a very clever pass off the ball. It's very important as well that Rodri really stay put, really stayed in the middle of the pitch and then allow, the likes of Pedri, to roam, likes of Danny Olmo, to making forward runs as well. I think this right hand side is much a better right hand side. In the last game for Spain, you would have seen Diego Llorente and also Ferran Torres down that right hand side, and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. There wasn't much ability of controlling that game from over there. And you're talking about the 1v1 quality wasn't enough. And you could see, just by Yamal getting on that ball, it was a perfect pass, but slightly over it. Yeah, it's almost that perfect pass that's slightly over it by Lamine Yamal towards Danny Olmo. And that's what you're going to get from Olmo. You're going to get the lead running into the box. Yeah, he's going to time his run, very well as well. So that's something to be mindful of Saudi Arabia, in this game as well. And for them, playing with much like something like a 4-4-2, it can be, five at the back, four at the back, you name it. But it all depends on how, they're going to keep the shape and what shape they're going to hold when defending and attacking. It's going to be various different shapes through the entire game just to try to contain the Spanish team. But it's a very tough team to really contain and just have them have to stay put and get them out of your defensive box and stuff like that. But for them, it's very important how they get the wing players in the game, and it's not to just panic. It's not to panic at this moment. They would have actually witnessed what happened with Uruguay. You cannot panic in stages like that. So it's very important you stay patient, you stay put, you understand what's around you. Never really let your player, your marker get ahead of you. And that was a very good pass into the box, and that was Ozayabal is thinking maybe a Lamine Yamal would have been somewhere on that back post. But yeah, spacing is going to be important, man. I know they counter this Spanish team right after the Spanish team turning over the ball to them, or they winning it back or whatever is, and they get on the ball, then they must attack with a lot of synergy and attack with a lot of pace, and must also defend with a lot of cohesion. So very important to see. And this team is basically just a Yes. So and it's another. It seems like another goal. For Espana. Looking at foot map, that's another goal for Mikel Oyarzabal in the 21st minute. That's what foot map is telling me, and it's 2-0. Yeah, Oyarzabal, scored in the 21st minute, and it is from this corner as well at the near post, and it's Olmo, and it's 2-0, and they're off and running. The team that won the World Cup in 2010, and it's Mikel Oyarzabal getting his account open as well in this World Cup, and De La Fuente, man, off at this moment where it's 2-0 before the hydration break. It's 2-0 before the hydration break, and it's glory, glory days for Espana in Atlanta. Glory, glory days at this moment in Atlanta for Espana. And the boys in red, much happy at this moment with a 2-0 lead, as this Saudi Arabia team seems to be wondering what the hell happened in the last 20 minutes. Gave up 2 goals cheaply, defensive error. When he's supposed to clear, the ball is hitting you. He's not clearing the ball properly. And then here goes. It is the Real Sociedad man from the Basque era getting in that goal to double the lead. Can Spain make it 3 in the first 45 minutes? And the way you think this Spanish team play this 2-0 win at this moment, or it's 2-0 lead at this moment, should fancy them as well. Should fancy them a lot. As the Saudi Arabian manager, his name is Georgios Dionis. Yeah, the man from Greece. Much experienced coach as well. Been around the Middle East football as well. Would have exactly known a lot of these players as well. So again, man, experienced campaigner, managing team in the Saudi Pro League, would know exactly the strength and weakness in this Saudi Arabia team. Not many European, and it's 3-0. And it is 3-0 for Mikel Oyarzabal, and it's all over at this moment. The Spanish team is all over the Saudi Arabian team, and they're hitting a brick wall. We don't even know what happened, how they managed to hit that brick wall. And he has double his goal tally in this game and in this World Cup campaign. As you can see, Donis drinking a lot of water under a lot of frustration. This seems like it will be an easy ride going for the La Roja, Spain in this game. Seems like it's going to be an easy ride. 3-0 up already. Easy ride going forward for Espana. As a return back from the hydration break, I think this is probably the most goals I've seen this World Cup campaign score before the hydration break. To be honest, the first hydration break. This is the first I've seen this many goals scored. 2 goals in the last 3 minutes before the hydration break for Espana. And Mike Ozayabal is on a hat trick. Will he get that hat trick? Let's see. Only time will tell as well. How much time does he have left back on the pitch after the first half come to an end? And you will see if De La Fuente will start the second half with him as well. It's a massive point in the game for him. He'll be looking at that hat trick. Lots of players dream of scoring hat trick in a World Cup game. So I think he should get it if they continue, to get those balls in the box as well and to get those wing players isolated as much as possible, and free up players that can run and overlap around them. And that's kind of wasteful from Lamine Yamal. Wasteful. That shot wasn't there. That player was calling for the defender to get dragged down the byline and then let him go and unleash on that left foot back again. As you could see, Salem is down after a crunching tackle from Poron as well, who came out after that challenge a bit limping as well. much up for the pump, people. Kind of bit, a little bit sleepy, just a little. Not enough minutes went into the tank overnight, yeah. Not enough minutes went into that tank, but we're here, we're live, we're discussing football as we're watching as well. So let's see how it goes. Saudi Arabia team ranked 62 in the world. Yeah, this time, for Saudi, really get on this ball. It's going to be difficult, but you need a bit of a touch touches on that ball, man. Get your teammates, involved with plays as well. Get them used to feeling that ball, on their foot, like before you even lose that ball. Against Spain, who is very much comfortable, on the ball. It's not going to give away much. And in Spain seems like they are heating it up at this moment. Another save from the Saudi Arabian goalkeeper as Mikel Oyarzabal, almost find that first half hat trick. I don't know how much players have ever scored a first half hat trick in the first opening 45 minutes of a World Cup game. So I think I need to find that piece of history as well, a record of first half hat trick in the FIFA World Cup. So what it's saying at this moment for first half hat trick. Yeah, there's this game in 1954. Austria versus Czechoslovakia. The player goes Erich Probes scored a first half hat trick as well within the opening 24th minute, making it the earliest hat trick from a kickoff in a World Cup history. Other notable World Cup halftime hat trick as well include Bertonodi. That's the famous game that the US men's national team beat in Paraguay in 1930 World Cup as well. Sandor, Kosisi scores multiple World Cup hat trick in 1954. Last Leo Kiss, the only substitute to score a World Cup hat trick against El Salvador in 1982 as well. So that's a bit of a World Cup record right there of hat tricks in the tournament. But yeah, Spain seems like they're in the mood. Spain seems like they're in the mood at this moment of passing the ball with a lot of rhythm, with conviction, a lot of purpose, playing direct as well, not scared, to make the most difficult passes as it will takes risk at times, to get beyond, some teams that really come and sit low block and sit deep in the defensive third. It's take a lot of risk to get around that as well. So it's good to see that Spain is playing with that a little bit of an intensity and a fluidity, going forward. And it's all about the players on the pitch, got inject in the starting 11 in this game as well. So I think more down to the personals, of why this Espana team is really playing like this. As you can see, Mark Cucurella is way up on that left hand side as well, playing like a left midfielder or a left attacking forward or as a left winger, you name it. Because sometimes you see, Cucurella is coming inside as well, for that pass. So as a left back playing so high, that will definitely push back your rivals out on that wing. Especially the one that's playing right back for Saudi Arabia. It's not going to be too much going down that right hand side of attacking because you would have seen Mark Cucurella is trending forward more in the game than ever. Saudi Arabia just need to gather some momentum. Just get a little small grip on this game for just probably around 5 minutes. Get a real taste of what it is. Yes, to keep possession of the ball, to hold out opposition, in this World Cup as well. And that will give your players some good confidence going forward. So I think, with how this team is playing at this moment, I think they should they should see themselves in actually fighting for a position outside of the top two, which I think is going to be tough for them to challenge for a top two in this group. Be a much difficult task. So there's 3 goals scored in 14 minutes for Spain. The 10th, Yamal, the 21st, and the 24th for the Real Sociedad man as well. So oof. And it's another effort. Yeah, it's another effort from the man just scored a brace. Say about it's another effort towards the goal. Where the first attempt was slightly miskick the ball, slightly miskick, and then he rocket that one far from the goalkeeper, but far away from that far post as well, trying to get something in this game, for himself, which that will be a first time hat trick. Is that the first corner kick? First corner kick for Saudi Arabia. This is much, much better from them as well. Trying to play them way, in the Spain box. But they need a very good deliver as this is going to be a foreign territory for the Saudi Arabia team in this game. With how strong this Spanish team is, how much they are not giving away the football, but for Saudi Arabia, to kick in a set piece towards the Spaniard goal, I think that should bring a lot of alarming bell. Ah, come on, Lamin Yamal. Have to do better than that. It's looking a bit too easy, from Yamal to Olmo to Rodri to Cucurella. I know, there's a Rodri opportunity on the edge of the box, and it's well went wide from Rodri as well. But that ball was passing from the right hand side, to Olmo, to Rodri, and I think who would have got that ball? I think it was Pedri. Received that ball, but Rodri couldn't find that ball or that shot on target as well. Game is actually playing with a walking pace at this moment. Walking pace. Quite funny to see how the Spain allow this Saudi Arabia team just a bit, to breathe a bit more comfortable, not playing with the energy no more, not playing a bit quick thinking, passes either and not playing that, it's all about getting the job done today and it's all about, score some goals. The important players on the score sheet as well, they know that will do that a lot of confidence going forward and also they think it was and it's not, it's not man. There's a long throw for Saudi Arabia as well. As we are coming up close to that 50-minute mark of 5 at a time to the 45. And I think that is it. So Mickey Alonso about helping the Spanish team to lead in 3-0 in the first half where he scored a brace and Yamal, scored in the 10th minute as well. So let's see how things will change into that second half. It's going to be important. How the Saudi team will look as well. Will the the Spanish team really come out, make some changes, or they will continue what they are doing at this moment and just to make a few adjustments as they going forward and deep into the second half of game. But definitely be back as well. Yeah, bit of refreshment and stuff. So So, sorry about that long delay. But there. Sorry about that long delay still, but something happened and I really have to went outside a while ago to take care of something. It has as what 4-1, 4-0 I must say. Didn't even see that fourth goal. Gonna have to replay that back and look on that goal. Yeah, man. So that one is a easy ride for Espana. Easy ride going forward for them. Seeing that, trying to get that goal pull up back to get that clip before that own goal was scored. But 4 minute, 5 minute after the second half start. It's not a good look on the Saudi Arabian face after that fourth goal went in. It's like Mark Cucurella was at the end of that last play. Yes, so it was Mark Cucurella shot that hit the goalkeeper and then hit the player number 5. That's a very good shot from Cucurella. Very good stop from the Saudi Arabian goalkeeper as well. Wow. So Spain look well, well and true with the 3 points. Lots of goals. Lots of goals. Players can get it enough rest as now. Still what, one substitution left. Yamal came out, Azayabal came out, and then just minutes ago, when Baina and Olmo came out as well. So that's 4 substitute made Ariel from Luis de la Fuente, and that's another opportunity. That's who Ferran Torres, Nico Williams is in, Merino, Ferran, and Pino. Some players that who didn't feature in the last game, getting a run out as well. Maybe I would love to see, Borja, Iglesias, to get a run out as well. The youngster that Liverpool just signed as well, Victor Munoz, the ex Real Madrid Castillo man, just played for Osasuna. He's on the bench. Maybe at some point in this World Cup you will see him playing a few minutes, hopefully. But Ruiz played the last game. Gavi played the last game. Zuba Mendy, didn't feature in that game versus Cape Verde. So maybe the next change will more likely be, a player like a Zubimendi, a Borga, Iglesias, a midfield change or a forward change. He could probably take out, one of those midfield and bring in Borja, a target man up front. So here goes Nico Williams down that left hand side, trying to create an impact. He's a player that Luis De La Fuente would like, to get in with some of the goals as well, get back a bit of farm as well. He was crucial to that Spain winning team in the Euros a few years back. Very crucial. So just to see how that Spanish team played in Germany in that Euro. Two wing players, so you want to see players like that, get back on farm, get back a bit of confidence going. So it is a corner kick. Next up, then is Belgium and Iran as well. Belgium and Iran will be a massive game as well for Belgium. Belgium will be looking to get their first 3 points of this World Cup. If they cannot get past this Iranian team, it will be such a sad state of the last moment of some of the golden generations of players that are still in around this Belgium team will be passed and would have no real joy of success in the big tournaments as well. So it's hydration break, the last of the game as well. We're going into the last 1/4 of the 90 minute after the hydration break. But yeah, the Group G, New Zealand, pretty good form as well. Seeing them played in last outing as well, where I think they played a very, very decent game, if you ask me. Yeah, but with Egypt, as well, we'll be playing New Zealand. That's a much needed victory for the Egyptian as well, where they need to get their campaign going. Yeah, this group seems like it will be wide open right down to match day 3, as match day 2 in match day 2 of Group G. No one can eliminate, as all 4 teams are on 1 point at this moment. So you're looking at Belgium looking forward to take charge of Group G. Egypt looking as one of the favorite team to get out, but they must take care of the New Zealand team as well. That game will play later today in Vancouver at BC Place in British Columbia. Belgium game will be playing in the Scotch heat of California. That game will be a noon kickoff on the West Coast as well. And the Uruguay versus Cape Verde, that game will play in the Miami Garden down in Florida as well, versus Uruguay and Cape Verde. That's a big, tough game, for Uruguay. Cape Verde is coming off a high with a massive 0-0 draw going into that game. Vosina with that historic clean sheet. Yeah. Vosina with that historic clean sheet versus Uruguay versus España, so he's looking forward to repeat the same versus Uruguay as well. Let's see if history can repeat itself. Would have see what Rome did last night as well. Curacao versus Ecuador. Yeah, another goalkeeper, on the trending page as well. Trending over the last 12 hours ago. Social media page been racking up a lot of followers, views, likes, comments, and that's what you want to see from the beautiful game. Two of maybe the oldest goalkeeper in the tournament that keeping for the national team, getting the highlight what they really deserve, at the back end of their career. Many people are themselves would have probably expect this would have happened, of this World Cup, where their life could change after football by racking up the followers, getting a lot, popularity, getting more famous, especially Vosina, where this man over 14 million followers on Instagram just alone. That could set your life until you're ready to say goodbye on planet Earth. yeah, after football. He will definitely will be earning more after retirement than when he was playing the beautiful game that he loved. Yeah. So if you can retire man from the sport that you love and start to earn even more money outside of that sport, then that means you have done something very good in your life. Not many players can earn more in salary after retirement. Many players tend to earn less or maybe not earning nothing at all, depending on what the player did throughout his entire career. But the Saudi Arabia team must continue to show a bit of positivity as it's not over. It's not over as yet. Yeah, it's not over. And they're going into a game where, you want to at least score a goal in this game, if you're Saudi Arabia. You want to bring down that. Oh, come on. You want to actually bring down that goal difference as well, because if they goes into that game versus Cape Verde as well, the team that going to finish in third is going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial as well. So you don't know what Cape Verde will do, because look, Saudi Arabia, can get a few goals. Cape Verde can beat Uruguay. That will leave them on 4 point as well. And you just never know what can happen. Even though the tiebreaker is much a head-to-head tiebreaker, but goals will bring confidence in our squad. You want your most attacking players getting on that score sheet as well, especially looking at a Spanish team looking more of closing out, but the fringe players on the pitch, like the Pino, looking to make an impact. Marina is looking to see if he can get goals. Nico Williams as well, looking if he can find back a bit of momentum going, find back that little juice in his legs of beating players for fun, 1v1 as well. So I'm looking forward for Spain even getting better as the season progressing. At some point during this campaign, at some point you're going to see Nico Williams and Yamal be starting games again at some point in this World Cup, because that would be their strongest lineup if Nico and Yamal can get in it as well, and that will leave a bit of room of where player like Ferran Torres, will be looking outside of the starting 11. Bahina as well be looking out of that starting 11 as well. I believe that Ozaya Bal and Nico and Yamal, that's the front three for me with this Spanish team, and with Rodri sitting at 6, Pedri. I strongly believe Olmo is a strong candidate and should be a strong candidate. You see, with a Spanish team where everyone likes to be on the ball, everyone likes to get a touch on the ball at some given point, right? Rodri is going to make things tick and he's going to make things move, in that number 6 role. But when you talk about Pedri, a lot of his pass, can be a bit pedestrian, can be a little bit, square passes, but he's really dictating the tempo and he's really dictating how the Spain team play. Is they going to play fast, he's going to play slow. He's really one that, change up things in that midfield. So he's very important. He likes to get on the ball as well. He wants to get on the ball. He wants to feel the ball at his foot. So I just think that between Ruiz and Dani Olmo, with Ruiz, he's not really that player where he's a clever player running to box, even though looking for Paris Saint-Germain, you have done a few of those late runnings to the box. But when you talk about Dani Olmo, who can play as a false 9, who can play as a 10, who's very intelligent of creating space, and he's very clever with the ball at his foot as well. So I just think that Dani Olmo is more of a two-way player, in that midfield for Espana. I think I would love him to see going forward getting more starts in this World Cup more than Ruiz. Ruiz should be maybe someone that's coming off the bench as well. A different type of player coming off of the bench. But Spain need more players where they will create space. They will be the outlet. And I just think that with Nico and Yamal, you will know what you will get from those players already. But you need that extra player in the midfield centrally to be creating the space for those wide men and for the number nine as well, because he's a very clever player. We know seeing it at Barcelona where he's a very deadly player when it comes on to creating space, even playing ball over the top or even running through the channels for a ball to dink over the top for him. So, and he's a very good finisher. Yeah, he's a very good finisher. Danny Olmo. We see him score some crucial goal, important goal as well when Barcelona needs someone to step up. So, him got a goal or two and an assist or two in his legs, rather than Ruiz that he's going to be like a too passive on the ball at times. Yeah, you're going to get that static, play from him where he's just going to look too giant together with him and Pedri in that midfield. Pedri need to be the only player in that midfield that want to really shark the ball, really want the ball at his foot. But Olmo, he doesn't mind the ball play around him at times, and he try to run in different channels and space so he can be free, open, and people will find him. So that's just my observation between some of the players that need to get back into Spanish team and players who to get removed from the starting level so they can have a better 11 going into the knockout round games, because they will get through from here. I think they should beat a Uruguayan team. I know many people like they should have beat the Cape Verde team, but you never know what can happen. Uruguay's teams are very mixed emotions team, where it's under Bielsa. You never know. They're unpredictable, very unpredictable. You think they would have really get past the Saudi Arabia team, but this Saudi Arabia team is not the finishing product. This is there's a real second workup between these players in this squad as well. So a team that is very much on the verge of any given time is deteriorating, where they need fresh young blood need to get injected into that Saudi Arabia team, but cannot see that team, Uruguay getting much result, from a Espana team, especially if we beat them. It can happen, but for me, just highly unlikely that Spain will lose a game in this run, especially looking at Nico is looking much sharper. Yamal, is scoring, he's getting his rest. They will play again in the next 4 to 5 days. So the longer the games tick on for Spain, Yamal will get even more sharper, look more confident, get more fitter, gain a bit more strength, get accustomed and acclimatized with the weather as well. Someone with a Moroccan descent. I don't know how much he used to spend time in Morocco, but we know the heat in the US is much different from a lot of places around the world. You talk about the humidity. Yeah. That alone is a killer, the humidity. Was that opportunity, for Pina? There's nothing much really coming from this Saudi Arabia team. Nothing much really. They get some opportunity to break quickly out of their defensive line, but there's nothing really threatening coming from this team. Today you have to give the Spanish team a lot of credit. You have to give them a lot of credit. I know they set the tempo of the game. Scoring 3 goals in 14 minutes, 3 goals before the hydration break in the first half as well. So relatively, this Saudi Arabia team, there was no coming back after concede that third goal, especially the 2 goal that Mikel Oyarzabal scored 2 goals in 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So that really take the game away from them. And this Saudi Arabia team just seems like they're just out of it in this game. I think the coach Donis, the Greek coach, throwing in a towel, get some players off the pitch, important players and rest players for that Cape Verde game because both teams at one point, you may be expecting the two top team in Group H, will get 3 points today, Uruguay and Spain. And that will be looking much bearing down of them solidifying things to be the top two team out of Group H. And then that last game of the group, between Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia, both teams will be going into that game, will fancy themselves to win that game, and that will be 4 points. Anyone win that game will be on 4 points, and that should be enough. Yeah, that should be enough for any team in the group to finish on fourth. Should get one of those best third spot out of the eight. Not all the groups will have a third spot that will finish on four. So that's why it's very important. If you cannot get through, you want yourself to be somewhere around 4 points, 5 points. Normally 5 points get you out of the group automatically. Normally. But sometimes you have scenarios where in the past, 5 points will struggle to get you out of a group, depends on the goal difference. That's when it was goal difference with the tiebreaker. But with this head-to-head tiebreaker, I kind of like it. I think this is what the Italians do as well for the Italian Serie A and Spanish League. The tiebreaker is very much one of the new policies that's getting in around in a world football more and more this time around with the head-to-head rather than the goal difference. I kind of like the head-to-head, beat the opposition if you want to get ahead of me. So that is it for me right there. But 5 minutes left before this game get over to the 90 minute. We know exactly how many minutes will add on to the 90. Cannot see more than 6 minutes. Cannot see more than 6 minutes get added on as well. But Saudi Arabia team look out of touch, out of shape, not really organized. Cannot really understand what they're trying to do as well. So many local players in the Saudi Arabia team. I know you're looking at how can this team strengthen. What is the next set of group is coming through? We're at the youth level. Are those players ready? To get integrated to the senior team, ready for big man football? As you can see, number 18 and 23 of the Saudi Arabia team, a clash of heads. That's one of the painfulest thing I've ever happened, to me on a football pitch, clashing it with a teammate. The Espana fans looking very much happy as Spain will be on 4 points. Let's see if Cape Verde later from now can create a upset versus Uruguay, as I don't put it past. Because this Uruguay team is not the Uruguay team of the past generations of World Cup that passed and gone, especially in 2010, famously of Diego Forlan wearing that black boots, kicking that Jubilani ball in S and Z towards the goalkeepers. Someone that were what, 5 goals for Uruguay in that tournament. Luis Suarez was there. Everyone was there in that game. It's looking much more serious as this will be even more time added on. So you're probably looking at around 7 to 8 minutes added on to the 90 minute. This is a long, lengthy stoppage with number 23 is on the floor at this moment, getting some treatment from the medical staff of Saudi Arabia. Number 23 was a substitution. His name is Kano. He's on the bench. The man that's playing for Al Hilal in the Saudi Pro League at this moment. I'm not sure how many of these um Saudi Arabian players we will see in the next World Cup at their best. And I think this is the World Cup where a lot of these players should be in their prime, around 30, 31, up to 33 years old as well. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of these players are aging players at this given moment. When you look at Salim Al Dasari, number 10, the captain, 34. The another Al Dasari as well, playing for Al Hilal, 27. He just literally came off the pitch as well. Firas Al Burakan, 26. The keeper is 24. Sahoud Abdulhamid, is the only player really playing out there in Europe, playing for Lens in the French Liga. Moteb, Al Arabi, 26. Ali, Lajami, 30 as well. Al Ali team. Al Amiri, 29 for Al Nasir. So they have some quite a few players as in that mark of going into their 30s, will much be around 33 for the next World Cup. And it is Ferran Torres with the fifth and the last killer of the game. It's good for him to get a goal. It's good for him to get off the mark in the World Cup, get a World Cup goal as well. He will be a key player, in the lateral part of the campaign when the Espana team is heading into the knockout round. We'll always see offside. Depends. It's that is very close. I think that's very close to get called offside. Come on, this should be taking around a minute. Come on, man. This is a straight up call. Get that line drawn, get that decision going, man. This is not a complicated call. It should be straight up for VAR to just draw that line, get it going, and move on. The players right across the line who potentially could keep him on or offside. Get it. Should be taking this long. Yeah. That should be it at any given time at this moment. Spanish team winning this game with a clean sheet, back to back clean sheet for Simon in the goal. No David Raya, the man who won the Premier League for Arsenal. One of the most impressive goalkeeper of last campaign as well. Cannot get away in. Cannot get away in the Spanish team. As it's all come to an end at this moment. So that is it, folks. Yeah. Much love and respect. Catch you guys around for the next couple of games, left back in the 24 hour. So I will see you guys in a